Guys, welcome back to another episode of R.E.D. It's the everyday podcast for the everyday people. And as always, we are here with an entirely different lineup of stories. These stories are going to make you feel a little bit uneased, but at the end of this episode, it's our goal to make you feel a bit encouraged, that you can overcome the tragedies that surround us each and every day, and that you can rise above the negative influences and the negative energy that makes up the planet Earth that we live on. This particular story finds itself nested in my home state of New Jersey. And to add to the heinous intent of this story, I used to drive school bus for this particular district. NJ school teacher Amy DeVideo accused of sexually assaulting underage student, New Jersey. A former middle school teacher in Bergen County was arrested for sexually assaulting one of her students Friday, according to officials. Former Garfield Middle School teacher Amy DeVideo, 46, was charged with aggravated sexual assault and other charges. On February the 10th, the Garfield Police Department responded to reports about a teacher engaging in sexual conduct with a student at Garfield Middle School. The investigation revealed that DeVideo, a married woman from Pompon Plains, had engaged in sexual conduct with an underage teenager within school grounds. Bergen County Prosecutor's Office also said that sexual conduct also happened in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, at a private residence and inside a car at unknown locations in Bergen, Essex, and Passaic counties. She will appear in court in Hackensack, but officials have not released the date of her first appearance. This particular story is on the edge of madness. I know that crime happens all over the country, but it's especially difficult when I have to be able to cover stories in connection with my home state of New Jersey. The fact of the matter is, this teacher, 46 years old, decides to assault an underage student. The teacher is married. Now, one of the biggest questions persons may ask is, why would someone married target children that are underage? Well, put simply, there are unique cases in which married persons use their marriage as a guise for hiding other intent or other areas in their life in which they need to adjust or make adjustments. This particular story is indeed very distressing. For all of the children involved and those who may be affiliated with the victim at Garfield Middle School, we wish you guys the best. When dealing with a trial like this, it's only normal for a child to blame themselves. I know that some may ask the question, why would this married woman, 46 years of age, decide to prey on a student or have a relationship with the student? The sad thing about the answer to that question is it happens more often and is more common than persons realize today. So what can you do if you are a friend of the victim involved in this story? Try your best to be able to help them to cope in the future with the tragedy of what has happened here at this school. Sometimes the victim may not come to the reality of a circumstance or may not feel the devastating consequences or effects of what this teacher has done until sometime later. Be a good friend. Stick to them. Be honest with them. And give them that support that they need so that they can endure this moving forward. If you do so, not only are you proving yourself to be a loyal friend, but you are truly showing genuine love for someone who is in dire need of your support. As for the school district who has to deal with this terrible incident, try your best to be there for all of the students that may feel some type of way, especially those whom this teacher taught. It's unsettling to know that your students have been in close company with a teacher who's been carrying out such conduct. We wish you guys all the best in Bergen County, New Jersey. This next story follows up in connection with a TikTok request that I had. Someone requested that I cover this story And it's a very, very unique one, to say the least. Orange County student cut on face with vape device during fight, taken to hospital. This is Cypress Creek High School, Orange County, Florida. A Cypress Creek High School student was injured during a fight Wednesday and taken to a hospital, according to sheriff's officials. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said it is investigating the incident, which prompted a hold at the school. 2 students were involved in the fight, according to Orange County Public Schools, which said the altercation between 2 students resulted in a cut on a student's face, forehead, that may have been caused by a vape device. During the hold, classes continued and students remained in their classrooms. Details about what led to the fight have not been released. I know for my listeners, that can be one of the most disturbing things in connection with not knowing the rest of a story or how a story was able to unfold. Here's my commentary to you guys. Rather be 100% when it comes to what you're hearing than to just hear anything to fill in the blank spaces. In reality, news media can fabricate a story and make up lies left and right. My particular podcast doesn't deal with that. I'm here to tell you guys what's real, what's 100%. A lot of research goes into making sure these stories are accurate and that the details are 100%. And if there are little details that are not covered in connection with the story that may have affected you, a friend, a family member, a teacher, etc., reach out to me. You guys have my email, redpodcasting@gmail.com. You have the comment feed. That's definitely your diary to my podcast. I read every comment and I respond to every individual so that you guys can be heard and your voices can be elevated in connection with these stories. Here's our follow-up. Shocking video captures brawl at girls' basketball game. GHSA disqualifies team from playoffs. Spalding County, Georgia. There is shocking video fans recorded of a bench-clearing brawl that broke out at a girls' high school basketball game. Punches were thrown all over the floor. The melee got so out of hand that officials canceled the game. It happened during a 4A playoff game involving Spalding High School and Wayne County High School in Jessup, Georgia, on Tuesday. One player said she didn't want to fight, but one of her opponents attacked her. She punched me, and then everything escalated, she said. Another student admitted she threw punches, but only to defend her teammates. She grabbed my teammate, she jerked her up like this, and she punched her. So then everything escalated, the players said. Spalding players say an adult even attacked them. This man, he was trying to break it up, but he ended up punching me, said one of the players. They say the Wayne County players called them names and were overly physical. Both teams were disqualified from the tournament. If you look at the video, you can see the referees already backing back, she pointed out. Jones reached out to Dr. Charnel Miles, a psychologist with Embark Behavioral Health. She works with teens and young adults providing comprehensive care, including mental health services and therapy. Dr. Miles reacted to the video of the brawl. Oftentimes, when you see big fights like that, there's a breakdown somewhere, she stated. Dr. Miles said girls have stressors just like boys and men, and sometimes that spills over into sports, just like with boys and men. The Spalding players insist they didn't want to fight and only wanted to play basketball. That's their version of what happened. There was no comment or statement from the Wayne County players, and Wayne County schools didn't return phone calls. Spalding County Schools says it is investigating this incident. No further information. I look at the story like this. When it comes to brawls and sports and fighting, there is at some point going to be a line in which you should expect these things to happen. It's competition. And so depending on what the beef is between these two counties or these two districts, you're going to find yourself dealing with circumstances like this. I'm not going to say that there should be no punishment. Of course, obviously discipline is meant to guide and correct. But for persons to bring in psychologists and act like this is something brand new and that, oh, it's a matter of girls, the girl sex versus guy sex, that has no place in connection with this story. You play sports, things get out of hand, and people are just trying to win the game. But at the same time, win the game and not be disrespected by the other team. Our follow-up story. Community honors life of 14-year-old Knoxville native who died suddenly over the weekend. Johnson City, Tennessee. People across East Tennessee are honoring the life of a young Knoxville native teen who suddenly died over the weekend. Charlee Blackburn was 14 years old when she died on February 17th at Johnson City Medical Center. Her parents said doctors are still investigating the specific cause of her death. They said the impact she had on them and the rest of the community can't be overstated. Love hard, love big, love now, love fast, said David Blackburn, her dad. The cheer, the sleepovers, going to concerts. She was just 90 miles per hour. Now her cheerleading pom-poms and softball cleats are resting with pictures of her with friends that show off her vibrancy. A sickness that started as strep throat continued escalating over the course of 3 days, and while she was being treated in the hospital, her parents said she kept her faith at the center of her life. We have no idea what happened. It's very, very uncommon. Very rare, her dad said. The light that hopefully Christ put in her. She shared her faith with her parents, who say it's the only thing helping them through the tragedy of losing her. And they said they want her to be remembered as a caring and kind young girl who made the most out of every moment. After getting news of her death, people across East Tennessee began wearing purple in her honor. A hashtag, #LoveLikeCharlee, started being shared on social media. A West Knoxville church overflowed Thursday night in celebration of her life. Her family asked that any donations be made to the Indian Trail Middle School in Johnson City. Well, to the Blackburn family, the everyday podcast of R.E.D, we truly want to send you our deepest and heartfelt condolences. We truly love that your faith is what's anchoring you during this difficult time. I recall a time when I lost my brother. It was my very resilience in that matter. Lots of prayer, lots of studying that really kept me grounded in connection with losing my brother in death. And although it does not get easier, or it does not guarantee that your loved one will come back to you at this time, it's one of those things that it gives you hope for a brighter tomorrow. People often neglect true, genuine hope and what it can do for you. I know that it's your hope that's keeping you guys strong, and continue to do the best you can in connection with the grief and the road that you're going to have to travel moving forward. We wish you, again, all of the best in your journeys. Here's the follow-up story. Massachusetts middle school student killed in tragic house fire identified. Another tragic story. Middleborough. The 12-year-old girl killed Saturday in a house fire in Middleborough has been identified as Jasmine Lane, a middle school student. Plymouth District Attorney Timothy Cruz officially released the girl's name Monday afternoon. Lane was a student at Nichols Middle School in Middleborough, which reopened Monday after February break. Grief counselors were at the school Monday to provide support for Lane's classmates. She died in a fire at her home on Pearl Street early Saturday morning. A 61-year-old woman was taken to Rhode Island Hospital with serious burn. A 59-year-old man and another child was taken to Good Samaritan Hospital for treatment, Cruz said. This unforeseen event has left us all shocked and saddened, Middleborough Superintendent Carolyn Lyon said in a letter to families. Wendy Wyman owns the house and has been the family's landlord for 10 years. She told WBZ-TV the young girl's parents were away at the time of the fire. I feel so heartbroken for everybody, Wyman said, adding that she started a GoFundMe for the family. It's not clear as to how or where the fire started. Our condolences again to the Lane family. There are tragedies that you can prepare for. There are tragedies that you cannot prepare for. This is one of those ones that you could not prepare for. You leave home, your child is okay, they're healthy, and then all of a sudden, real life comes in, and you find yourself upset, you find yourself angry, you find yourself a bit sad in connection with the tragedies that come with unforeseen occurrence. We are hoping that you guys are going to be able to continue doing your best as you cope with the loss of your dear loved one. Our follow-up story, schools and their cleaning patterns. Mold cleanup in Deep River School to cost millions. Deep River, Connecticut. Severe mold has kept students and teachers out of John Winthrop Middle School for months. Tonight, the Board of Education says repairs will cost $5.8 million. Now, referring to tonight, this published date is February the 21st, 2024. The $5.8 million would pay for HVAC and dehumidification services. Those repairs will get the middle school students out of their temporary home at Valley Regional High School and back to John Winthrop Middle School. For teachers at John Winthrop and Valley Regional, two schools under one roof has brought unprecedented challenges. This is the lowest teacher morale I've seen, and I taught through COVID, and this is definitely lower, one said. A severe mold issue at John Winthrop Middle School forced teachers and students out of the building at the beginning of the school year. Now the school board has worked with an outside contractor to come up with a $5.8 million plan to make repairs that would allow students and staff to go back to the middle school. But that plan doesn't solve every problem. The roof is at the end of its serviceable life, and in the next few years, we'd have to contemplate a roof repair. And we understand the windows need a replacement in the near term, Brian White, superintendent, said. After hearing the plan, parents and faculty would like to see a more complete plan. People who live in the school district will be able to vote on this $5.8 million plan in a scheduled referendum on March 26. If that does not pass, then the board will have to come up with a new plan to get students and staff back in the middle school. The thing about the Board of Education and these school districts, when it comes to these stories, right, is that they don't think about people. They don't think about the bigger issues. They often think about just fixing things and how things are going to get resolved in that way. If I personally were a parent, I would be very frustrated because we have these laws in place. We have these legal establishments. We have DOT. We have health and safety. We have health care benefits. All of these things, right, established for the protection and the well-being of the people, right? But when it comes to the simple things, the small things, like a school having mold, that should be something that's against the law. Mold can literally kill someone. But yet, persons who are driving their cars without a seatbelt on, they're the ones who get the ticket. I'm not saying that a person who's not wearing their seatbelt shouldn't get the ticket. But what I'm saying is priorities are quite humorous. And if people today don't feel as though they're cared about on an individual level, it can cause problems in the future. We're hoping that they're able to resolve this matter very quickly, because I can only imagine what it's like for two different grade groups, two different schools, to be meeting under the roof of one building. Hopefully the Board of Education is a bit more swift in connection with complying with these changes. Very difficult educational umbrella to be under in school for children today. Wishing them all the best in connection with this story. This next story that transitions over, when I read it this morning, I was a little bit disappointed. Because some things can just be totally avoided. Everything doesn't have to be so aggressive and violent. Here's what we're looking at, guys. U.S. woman enters daughter's classroom, thrashes and punches teacher in front of 25 students. A Syracuse mother entered her daughter's classroom and brutally punched her teacher in the face, shattering multiple bones in front of at least 25 students. In a horrific incident, a Syracuse mother entered her daughter's classroom and brutally punched her teacher in the face, shattering multiple bones in front of at least 25 students. This incident took place at Lincoln Middle School on Friday. A woman, identified as Lynzia Sutton, 31, was able to pass through security because she appeared to be a student due to her short height, according to the school superintendent. These are injuries you don't often see in a boxing match. Onondaga District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick said at a press conference on Tuesday, New York Post reported. When Sutton arrived at the school, she started searching for a certain teacher, according to the police. When she discovered the teacher, the woman punched her several times, fracturing her nose bone and maxillary spine bones, said Fitzpatrick. The teacher also suffered a head injury. She's going to have some long-term issues. Her nasal passages were severely affected by this, he added. Sutton's daughter told the teacher a day before the event, "My mom will handle this," after receiving a punishment for allegedly lying about her whereabouts during the school day. The teacher filed a complaint with the school because she was concerned. After attacking the teacher, Sutton left the school, but she was later apprehended and charged with burglary and assault. The mother claimed they were furious with the school because her daughter was constantly bullied and the problem remained untreated. She's been slapped, she's been kicked, they've broken her glasses 3 times. They've broken cell phones twice, and all we get from the school is, well, what is she doing? They made her out to be the problem, said Sutton's mother, Roxanne Tompkins. She asserted that she felt really bad for the injured teacher. She says, and I quote, "I apologize for that and I hope that she recovers. There's always a better way to handle stuff, and we were going to talk at the school to have a conversation with the school, like we have numerous times," said Sutton's mother, Roxanne Tompkins. On Wednesday, Onondaga's DA's office informed the Post that Sutton was freed on bond and is scheduled to appear in court in a later date. The injured teacher has been released from a hospital after receiving treatment and is recovering. I think there are ways that you can handle situations. The fact that this mother attacked this teacher will not assist her daughter one way or the other, because her daughter is still going to face the challenges of bullying. The logic of people today, I'd have to say, is crazy. Let me know in the comments what you personally think. People today are very selfish. They're prone to think about what they want. They think about others after them. And it's really sad to look at as an overall picture in connection with just the sadness of what goes on today. This next story literally shares that theme. It literally is the foundation of what happens in this particular story. Colorado middle school staff member arrested, charged with sexual assault of students. A staff member at a Colorado middle school has been arrested and is now facing charges of sexual assault on a child by a person in a position of trust. Last week, Lakewood police investigators were alerted to multiple complaints by students at Crichton Middle School that a school staff member inappropriately touched them. Officers arrested 27-year-old Luis Fernando Robles Luevanos, who was serving as a staff member at the school when he was arrested. He served as a coach and classroom instructor and worked closely with Spanish-speaking families, police say. He is currently being held at the Jefferson County Jail. The school district said it's in the process of terminating Robles Luevanos' employment. The school is hosting a meeting with the Lakewood Police Department on Tuesday, February 20th at 9:15 a.m. in the cafeteria, and that was just a few days prior to this episode. However, detectives think there may be more victims in this case and are asking anyone with information on the suspect or who feels they were a victim to call the Lakewood Police tip line at 303-763-6800. That's 303-763-6800. If something like this has have you feeling uncomfortable, or if you knew this teacher, or perhaps your friends knew this teacher, the wise thing to do in the matter would be to speak up. Do not blame yourself. You're not to blame for a teacher who chooses to abuse their free will. But keep in mind that when you guys don't speak up about tragedies and trauma, it can leave you feeling lost, alone, and a bit devastated. So we're wishing you a well recovery to the victims. And as for the families, do not blame yourselves. Sometimes you just don't know what's going on. And so things like this happen. It can be a lesson for everyone around and involved to continue to be alert, to be vigilant, and to look out for signs of individuals up to no good. Here's the next story. 2 students arrested after gun found on middle school campus. Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo police say 2 students were arrested after they say school administration found a gun on the Travis Middle School 6th grade campus. Police say on Tuesday around 9:30 a.m., officers were called to meet school administration at the 6th grade campus on a student with a gun. When officers arrived, they were advised by school officials that they had received a report of a student on campus with a gun. School administration found this student, took him to the office, and recovered the gun from the student. Police say officers conducted an investigation and found that the juvenile suspect had shown the gun to a second suspect in one of the bathrooms. A third student was in the bathroom when the second suspect was looking at the gun. Police say the second suspect pointed the gun at the third student. Later, during the officers' investigation, police say they learned the suspect had made comments to others of shooting someone on campus. The 2 12-year-old male juveniles were arrested and booked into the youth center of the High Plains. Police say they are charged with attempted aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, unlawful carry of a weapon in a weapon-free zone, terroristic threat, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawful carry of a weapon in a prohibited place. The Juvenile Investigations Unit is still investigating this incident. Wow. 12 years old, finding yourself dealing with gun violence. I couldn't imagine dealing with these things that the kids go through today in school. Back then in my time, it's just so unheard of. But today it's more and more and more and more. As a result, some students may feel as though they need to carry a gun to protect themselves, but that may not be the wisest course. Sometimes you can bring trouble upon yourself by taking such drastic means to protect yourself. Be smart, be wise, and just always be mindful of your surroundings and talk to someone who may have a little bit more insight on the matter than you may realize. Another story to leave you meditating. Staff member found dead at Wayne Township Elementary School. A school custodian was found dead in a stairwell at a Wayne Township Elementary School Wednesday, just before student arrival. According to police records, officers responded to a report of a suicide at Maplewood Elementary School, 1643 Dunlap Avenue, at about 7 a.m., which is 30 minutes before the first bell rings for the school day. Wayne Township Metropolitan School District officials said the staff member were found in an area not readily accessible to students, but did not elaborate. Classes were held as usual. How the individual was found, how long he'd been on campus, and additional details about the case have not been released. Nothing further in connection with this story. Now, of course, guys, if there are any updates in connection with this particular story, if there is any follow-up in connection with what happened and what went down, I'll be able to let you guys know. Now, in my job personally, there was an incident like this. The article may mention that there's no foul play here. That we were at work in a school bus company, of course, and we used to have this little shed box, and where the employees would go, those who pumped the gas for the buses. And the man went in there, one of the workers, and he was, no one thought anything of it, and he was found deceased in the shed. So if the school did decide to provide these children with a source of therapy or a communication outlet, it will be beneficial for them, and it could prevent them from going down a path that may have triggered them from losing this employee and person in death. We also wish you well in connection with the loss of this person, especially to the family and some of the students who may have known this janitor. Our next story, Lawrence High School basketball coach charged with sexually assaulting student. The men's basketball coach at Lawrence High School has been charged with sexually assaulting a female high school student back in 2022. Police in Manchester, New Hampshire, said Friday that 34-year-old Jesus Moore, who lives in Manchester, has been charged with aggravated felonious sexual assault after a woman came forward accusing him of assaulting her when she was a high school student. Manchester police said they were notified by Lawrence police about 2 weeks ago about an alleged assault that had taken place in Manchester. Lawrence police had been approached about the sexual assault by Safe Sport, an independent nonprofit that focuses on abuse prevention, education, and accountability in the sports community. Through their investigation, Manchester police said they learned that Moore, a basketball coach at Lawrence High School, had arranged for a female student to get a ride to Manchester, given her alcohol, and sexually assaulted her at a Manchester motel. The assault happened in 2022, and the victim was a minor at that time, police said. Moore turned himself in to police Thursday, and his bail was set at $1,000 cash. He is scheduled to be arraigned in Manchester District Court on March 27th. It wasn't immediately clear if he had an attorney who could speak to the charge. One student made a comment that she was just devastated and shocked that this could happen in her particular school. One of the things that I find to be just completely devastating is that this person almost got away with it. It's especially discouraging when persons may think that they can get away with these things. This happened in 2022, but this situation comes up now in 2024. It's just proof in itself that no matter what happens, as long as they're still thoroughly investigating, it will come to light for those of you who may still be waiting on justice and hope. Our next story. Dead person found inside bus in Waterville Junior High School parking lot. Waterville. Police say they found a dead person inside a bus in a Waterville Junior High School parking lot. The Waterville Police Department says they got a call around 4:30 a.m. on Monday, reporting there was a person slumped over the steering wheel of a bus in the parking lot of the junior high school. Officers responded and found a dead person inside the bus. The main office of Chief Medical Examiner will be conducting an autopsy. The death remains under investigation. However, police say foul play is not suspected at this time. Police say that there is no threat to the public. The person's name has not yet been released. Due to the incident, Waterville Public Schools were closed this past Monday. No other information has been released. When this story first popped up on my desk, I said to myself, wow, it's not much information here. What makes this hard-hitting? Well, someone lost their life. Students could have been affected by the death of this individual. It's not easy coping with death. Some people try to handle grief by not talking about it, but talk about it. When you're going through something, express that to someone. You never know what help they can provide to you during difficult times. We wish you guys all the best in connection with the loss of this individual there in Waterville. Our final story for episode 26. Local substitute teacher accused of sending nude photos to middle school student. Dearborn County, Indiana. A tri-state substitute teacher is accused of sending nude photos to a student. The Dearborn County Prosecutor's Office says 21-year-old Cassidy Carter is accused of sending these photos to a 14-year-old student at South Dearborn Middle School. An affidavit states that Carter became friends with the victim on Snapchat in November and sent pictures through the platform. Court documents indicate that Carter was a substitute teacher at the school from early September until mid-November. Carter appeared in court on Monday on a charge of child solicitation for sexual intercourse. She has been ordered not to have any contact with the teen. No further information in connection with this story. You know, when you think about just how many teachers are involved in this kind of misconduct and are dealing with students in this sexual way, it is uneasing for parents because you would not suspect or think that a teacher, not just because of appearance or because of sex, male or female, would be involved in such misconduct. The student does not appear to have been violated in a physical way, but it must have been something disturbing to get those kind of photos from a teacher or a staff member at your local middle school. Well, guys, that has been episode number 26. To all of the subscribers, the likes, those persons who support this podcast, we love you dearly. We appreciate all that you do for this podcast in connection with spreading the word, sharing the videos, and commenting on the post. And we look forward to seeing you guys again in episode 27. Other than that, guys, thanks again as always for tuning in. This has been R.E.D. It's the Everyday Podcast for the Everyday People. Peace out.